He is the master of heroic bloodshed, the iconic movie star in a trench coat with a gun in each hand. But the real story of Chow Yun-fat is far more dramatic than any film role. It's a journey that takes him from a poor, powerless childhood to the heights of Hollywood, only to risk it all for his principles. He battled personal tragedy, overcame career slumps, and made a choice that would get him blacklisted by a superpower. This is the story of the man behind the legend. For more deep dives into iconic lives, subscribe to our channel. The journey of Chow Yun-fat to stardom began far from the neon-lit streets of Hong Kong on the quiet, vehicle-free Lama Island. Raised in a poor farming family, his early life was one of simple, rural hardship. He would wake before dawn to help his mother sell Hakka tea pudding and other snacks on the streets. His home lacked electricity, and the glow of city life across the water must have seemed like another world entirely. He left school at 17 to help support his family, taking on a series of odd jobs that included being a postman, a bellboy, and a camera salesman. It was a life of humble work, with little indication of the extraordinary future that awaited him. The crucial turning point came when a friend suggested he answer a newspaper advertisement for an actor in training program at TVB, the city's most powerful television station. With little to lose, he applied, and to his surprise, he was accepted. This entry into the world of television in 1973 marked the true beginning of his professional career. The TVB training program was a demanding star factory, churning out talent to feed its constant need for content. Chow worked tirelessly, learning his craft through a relentless schedule of appearances in sitcoms, dramas, and historical epics. He was a constant presence on Hong Kong television screens throughout the 70s, a familiar face slowly building a reputation for his hard work and natural charisma. He was honing his skills, but he was still waiting for the one role that could elevate him from a working actor to a genuine star. That role arrived in 1980, and it changed everything. When Chow was cast as the lead in the period drama The Bund, nobody could have predicted its monumental impact. He played Hui Man Kyung, a complex and handsome gangster, navigating the treacherous, glamorous world of 1930s Shanghai. Dressed in his now iconic white suit and fedora, Chow was the epitome of cool, a blend of charm, ambition, and tragic destiny. The show was an absolute sensation. Across Asia, life would come to a standstill when it aired. Streets would empty as families gathered around their television sets, captivated by the story and its magnetic star. Chow Yun-fat was no longer just a familiar face. He was a cultural phenomenon. The series made him a household name and one of the biggest stars in Hong Kong. With television conquered, a transition to the big screen was the next logical step. He began appearing in numerous films, but success in this new arena proved elusive. For several years, despite his immense popularity on television, his films failed to find a significant audience. He was making movies, but they weren't hits, and he soon earned the unfortunate label of box office poison. It was a frustrating period where his cinematic potential seemed to be going unfulfilled, a stark contrast to his status as a television king. Then came another career-defining moment, a partnership that would not only save his film career, but would also reinvent action cinema itself. In 1986, he teamed up with director John Woo for a film called A Better Tomorrow. Woo, also in a career slump, poured all his creative energy into the project, and he saw in Chow the perfect vessel for his new vision. Chow played Mark Gore, a stylish, toothpick-chewing gangster fiercely loyal to his friends. The character was suave, funny, and deadly, a new kind of action hero who felt deep emotions and abided by a strict code of honor. The film was an explosive, unprecedented success. Its highly stylized, slow-motion gunfights, which were choreographed like violent ballets, mesmerized audiences. The themes of brotherhood, sacrifice, and redemption resonated deeply. Chow's long trench coat and sunglasses became an instant fashion craze, copied by young men all over Asia. He was no longer box office poison. He was the biggest movie star in Hong Kong. This collaboration with John Woo launched the heroic bloodshed genre and solidified Chow's legendary status. They followed their massive hit with other masterpieces of the genre, including The Killer in 1989, where Chow played a soulful hitman, and Hard Boiled in 1992, an action-packed spectacle where he portrayed a renegade cop. These films were more than just local hits. They were exported around the globe, earning Chow a devoted cult following among international film enthusiasts and action fans. His on-screen persona was the definition of cool, a figure of immense style and grace, even in the midst of chaotic violence. His professional life was at an absolute peak. Yet, behind this soaring success, he and his wife, Jasmine Tan, were navigating an unimaginable personal tragedy. In 1991, their daughter was tragically stillborn. This profound loss was a private devastation that stood in stark contrast to his public triumphs. It was a period of immense grief that deeply shaped his personal life and strengthened the bond with his wife, revealing a depth of character and sensitivity that would forever ground the larger-than-life icon. By the mid-1990s, Chow Yun-fat was more than a movie star. He was the undisputed king of Hong Kong cinema, an icon whose influence was felt in every corner of the industry. Having defined a genre and captured the imagination of a generation, he stood at the absolute pinnacle of his career at home. Yet, a great change was on the horizon for Hong Kong itself. The impending 1997 handover of the British colony to mainland Chinese rule cast a long shadow of uncertainty over the city and its famously freewheeling film industry. A quiet exodus of top talent had begun, with many actors and directors, including his key collaborator John Woo, looking west toward the perceived stability and global reach of Hollywood. It was a time of immense professional risk and personal reflection. To stay would be to remain a king in a kingdom whose future was unknown. To leave would mean sacrificing that throne for the chance to start over, to become a student again in a foreign land, where his fame meant little to the mainstream public. He chose the path of the unknown and made the momentous decision to try his luck in America. The transition was far from easy. Hollywood in the 90s was not the globally minded industry it is today, and for a star from Asia, the obstacles were immense. The most immediate and significant hurdle was the English language. He was a master of conveying nuanced emotion through dialogue in his native Cantonese, but in English, he was a beginner. He dedicated himself to intense study, working for hours a day to learn not just the words, but the rhythm and flow of a language completely new to him. This was more than a technical challenge. It struck at the very heart of his craft. Acting is about more than reciting lines. It is about inhabiting them, and doing so in a second language required a profound level of dedication and vulnerability. He also had to adapt to a vastly different filmmaking culture. The Hong Kong system he knew was famous for its lightning-fast pace and on-the-fly creativity. Hollywood was a more structured, union-driven machine, with a slower, more deliberate process. It was a world of agents, managers, and auditions, a stark contrast to the star-centric system where he was royalty. His Hollywood debut came in 1998 with The Replacement Killers. The film was a slick action piece that essentially imported his Hong Kong persona, casting him as a stylish assassin with a conscience. It was a logical entry point, playing to the strengths that his cult following already knew, but it didn't set the box office on fire. He followed it up with The Corruptor in 1999, a gritty crime drama that paired him with Mark Wahlberg. These initial films established his presence, but also highlighted another major challenge: the danger of being typecast. American studios primarily saw him through the lens of his action films, threatening to confine his immense talent to the box of a gun-wielding hero. A deliberate step in a new direction came with Anna and the King that same year. In this lush period drama, he starred opposite Jodie Foster, playing King Mongkut of Siam. The The role required no action sequences, instead demanding dramatic weight, regal presence, and romantic subtlety. It was a clear statement that he was far more than an action star, and it showcased his versatility to a wider American audience. Then, a project emerged that would change the course of his international career forever. Taiwanese director Ang Lee was planning an ambitious martial arts film, a Mandarin language epic based on a traditional Chinese literary genre known as wuxia. The film, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, was a huge gamble. It was an art house film with a blockbuster budget, made in a language few American moviegoers understood. Chow was cast in the lead role of Li Mubai, a legendary swordsman weary of his life of violence. The character was the spiritual core of the film, a figure of immense grace, skill, and profound inner sadness. This was not the frenetic energy of his heroic bloodshed roles. Li Mubai's power was in his stillness, his authority conveyed through a glance, his sorrow through a quiet sigh. The role was a perfect marriage of his physical grace and his deep dramatic capabilities. When Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was released in 2000, it became a global phenomenon. Audiences were mesmerized by its poetic beauty, its breathtaking fight choreography that seemed to defy gravity, and its powerful, emotional love stories. The film shattered all expectations for a foreign language feature, becoming a critical darling and a massive box office success around the world. It went on to receive 10 Academy Award nominations, an astonishing feat for a non-English film, and won 4, including the award for Best Foreign Language Film. The movie's success was a watershed moment for Asian cinema in the West. For Chow Yun-fat, it was the ultimate validation. The film elevated him from a cult favorite to a globally recognized and respected actor. He was no longer just the cool hero from John Woo's movies. He was the noble warrior from Ang Lee's masterpiece. His move to Hollywood had been vindicated on the grandest possible stage. In the years that followed, he cemented his status as a bona fide international star, taking on roles in big-budget Hollywood productions like the fantasy action film Bulletproof Monk in 2003, and joining one of the biggest movie franchises in history as the formidable pirate lord Sao Feng in 2007's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. He had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of Hollywood, proving that his talent transcended language, culture, and genre. Following his remarkable success in Hollywood, Chow Yun-fat could have easily remained in America, cementing his place in the studio system. Instead, he began a gradual but deliberate shift back toward Asia, choosing to lend his formidable star power to major Chinese language productions. This was not a retreat, but a return to his roots on his own terms. He starred in Zhang Yimou's visually stunning 2006 epic Curse of the Golden Flower, a film of immense scale and operatic drama that showcased his commanding presence as a tormented emperor. He also proved his enduring commercial appeal by anchoring blockbuster franchises like the wildly successful From Vegas to Macau series, which dominated the box office during the lucrative Lunar New Year holiday season. He had successfully crossed over to Hollywood and back again, retaining his status as one of the most bankable and respected actors in the entire Asian market. As his later career progressed, a fascinating new narrative began to form around him, one that had less to do with his on-screen roles and everything to do with his personal character. A portrait emerged of a global superstar who lived a life of extraordinary simplicity. Despite a personal fortune estimated to be in the hundreds of millions of US dollars, Chow became famously, almost radically, frugal. Stories and candid photos from ordinary citizens began to circulate widely, creating a legend of the humble movie star. He was frequently spotted running errands in his neighborhood, shopping at modest local markets, and lining up for discount movie tickets just like everyone else. Most famously, he became a regular user of Hong Kong's public transportation system. It was a common, if still surreal, experience for commuters to look up from their phones on the bus or subway and see the iconic face of Mark Gore, or Li Mu Bai, sitting quietly among them, often happy to oblige fans with a friendly smile and a selfie. He spoke openly about his lack of interest in material wealth, reportedly using a simple flip phone for years after smartphones became standard, and claiming to spend only about $100 a month on himself. This profound indifference to the trappings of wealth was one half of a powerful personal philosophy. The other half was an incredible sense of generosity. In 2018, he and his wife, Jasmine Tan, made a stunning announcement that resonated around the world. They had decided to donate their entire fortune to charity upon their passing. He explained his reasoning with his characteristic down-to-earth wisdom, stating that the money was not really his to keep. He saw himself as a temporary custodian of a fortune he had earned, and believed it should ultimately be given back to society to help those in need. This single act cemented his legacy as a figure of immense integrity, a man whose personal values were even more impressive than his celebrated film career. This powerful moral compass was put to the test in 2014 during a period of intense political upheaval in Hong Kong. A wave of pro-democracy protests, which came to be known as the Umbrella Movement, saw tens of thousands of students and citizens occupy major city streets to demand greater autonomy from mainland China. In the high-stakes entertainment industry, where access to the massive mainland Chinese market is essential for survival, most celebrities remain silent, fearing professional ruin. Chow Yun-fat chose a different path. He publicly voiced his support for the protesters, expressing empathy for the students and their goals. He spoke of his admiration for their courage and criticized the government's use of tear gas, stating that the government should not use such tactics against its own people. The repercussions were swift and severe. While his stance earned him immense respect from many in Hong Kong and around the world, it infuriated Beijing. He was reportedly placed on an unofficial but very real blacklist, effectively making him unwelcome in mainland China's booming film industry. It was a decision that came at a significant professional cost, cutting him off from lucrative roles and massive production budgets. Yet, he never expressed regret, choosing to stand by his principles rather than his financial interests. He had faced down villains on screen for decades, but this real-life act of courage arguably became his most defining role, solidifying his image as a man of the people who was willing to risk everything for what he believed in. In the years since, he has remained a beloved and revered figure. His enduring popularity was evident even in minor incidents, like a brief online debate in early 2024 over a video of him asking a fan to lower her face mask before taking a photo. While a few netizens were critical, a far larger chorus of supporters immediately came to his defense, a testament to the deep well of goodwill he has accumulated. He continues to live his quiet, unassuming life, frequently seen hiking the trails of Hong Kong, maintaining the active lifestyle that has become his trademark. His legacy is now twofold. He is remembered as the charismatic, stylish icon who revolutionized action cinema, but also as the humble, generous, and fearless man who proved that true character is measured not by wealth or fame, but by integrity and compassion. From the gritty streets of Hong Kong cinema to the dazzling lights of Hollywood, Chow Yun-fat's career is legendary. Yet, his greatest role has been himself, a man of profound humility, quiet generosity, and unwavering courage. He conquered the box office, then chose to give his fortune away. He won global fame, then risked it to stand with his people. His legacy is not just in his iconic films, but in the powerful integrity of his character. What do you admire most about his story? Let us know below and subscribe for more amazing life stories.